Hello from Village, I'm Erin Parsons, and in this video I'm going to show you how to put multiple wicks into your candle properly. So I have these lovely clear Lux jars, 15-ounce Lux jars, and they are about 4 inches in diameter. So generally I would recommend that you put one wick into your candles when they fall between 1, 2, 3.5 inches. Once you get up to about 4 inches, you need a pretty large wick in order to get to your melt pool right to the glass. So at that point, I recommend that you put more than one wick into your candle, because when you put larger wicks in, that's when you start to notice a really tall flame. You notice a little bit more smoke and soot coming from your candle. So it's nice to have a smaller wick in those candles so that you don't get that. So I'm going to show you how to go about figuring out how many wicks to put in your candle and which wicks to use. So the way I like to start is by getting a piece of paper and drawing a template of my candle onto the piece of paper. So we'll draw our template. And this makes it a little bit more easy for you to figure out the wicks to use. So once you have your template, you don't have to cut it out, but I find it to be a little bit easier to cut it out. So you just cut out your template. And then at that point, you need to kind of start thinking about how many wicks would I like to use in my candle? Do I want to use 2, 3, 4, or more? So I'm going to show you how to figure out how to do a 2-wick, a 3-wick, and a 4-wick candle. So the 2-wick is definitely the easiest. What I would do, fold your template in half, and once you have your template divided into 2, what you need to do is measure the widest and the thinnest part of each section, which the widest part is 4 inches, the thinner part is 2 inches. So what you need to do is find a happy medium between those two widths in order to wick your candle properly. You wouldn't want to get a wick that is meant for the 4 inches. At that point, you may as well just put a single wick into this candle. And you also wouldn't want to put two 2-inch diameter wicks into this either, because at that point you would definitely have wax that's not melted. So I have cut out these little black templates to demonstrate the diameter of a melt pool for a large wood wick. I have one for an HTP 93, and then I also have an HTP 72. So this is HTP 72 is a 2-inch diameter wick. So just to show you, if we were to put 2 of those in, this is what would burn. Obviously that's not what we're going for. So then I'll show you if we were to put 2 of the HTP 93 wicks in. So a little bit better, but still getting lots of wax that's not going to be melted. So then I'm going to show you, these are for the large wood wicks, also would work for an HTP 105. So if we put 2 of those in, now you're still seeing a little bit of wax that could possibly not get melted, but when you're putting multiple wicks in, you're also going to be getting a little bit of extra heat with them working together. So there is a good chance that if you put 2 of these large wood wicks or 2 HTP 105 wicks into your candle, that you will get a full melt pool. Maybe not after the first, but most likely you would get a full melt pool after the second or third burn. So that's what I would recommend going with, either an HTP 105 or a large wood wick, or anything that is a 3-inch diameter. So that's what we'll go with for this. So then we want to figure out the best placement for our wicks. So I would put it somewhere in the middle. And probably the easiest way to do that would be to fold it the opposite way. I can see where the fold was, so I'm going to match up the folds from my first fold, the points at either end, fold those in half. So that shows me the center of my section. So then what I'm going to do is fold the outer edge into the middle, and then again on the other side, the outer edge into the middle. And then where those meet, and those folds, that one wasn't a very good straight fold, there we go. So where those folds meet from the outer edge into the middle, this shows you the center of the section. So this is where you want to place your wick. Okay, so that shows you where my 2 wicks are going to go. And I just pop my jar over top. I get the wicks that I'm going to be putting in there. So I've got 2 large wood wicks. I'm going to get the tabs. Need a few wick stickums, which are really great for holding your wick in place nice and secure to make sure it's safe. So you want to pop those onto the bottom of your tab. And then I'm gonna stick my wood wick into the tab. All right, so now I just peel back the other side of the wick stickum. I'm going to lower my wick in over top of the circle. And with wood wicks, you want your wide part of your wick to be parallel with the wide part of your jar. So I'm going to stick that down in. So as you can see, my wick is going to be burning the widest this way, and that's the way that I need it to be burning the widest. So then we'll do the other one, doing the same thing. All right, so we've wicked our 2-wick candle. So now I'm going to move on to doing the 3, which is probably the most challenging of all of these candles, because you need to do a little bit of math with the 3. So I already have a template cut out. So the way that I have found is the easiest way to get your sections figured out for a 3-wick is you do your fold. And then I raided my son's math kit to get this protractor. And I folded it in half, and both ways, one way and then the other. And then I line up the point at the bottom of the protractor with the center point on my template. And so then you have to figure out, so a full circle is 360 degrees. So you take 360 and we're going to divide that by 3 equals 120 degrees. So each section will need to be 120 degrees. So I'm going to make a little dot where my starting point is, and then I'm going to find, I'm going to flip it over here. And then I'm going to find the 120 degrees, and I'm going to make another mark there. So then I'm going to find that center point again with my protractor, and I will line 0 up with that 120 degree mark that I made. And then I'm going to find 120 degrees again. So now I have my 3 points. So then I have to I'm going to draw a line from the point that I drew to the center of the circle, and do that for all 3 of them. All right, so now I have my 3 sections figured out. So then next what I need to do is I need to measure the widest and the skinniest part of each section. So the widest part is about 3 3/4 inches. And then the thinnest part from side to side is 2 1/4 inches. So we need to find a happy medium between those. So then I'll go back to my templates. So I've got the ones for the large wood wick, which are a 3-inch diameter. So if I were to use that, this is what we're looking at. Now, as far as the outer area is concerned, pretty good. There's not a whole lot of white space that you can see, but there is a lot of overlapping. So that's probably a little bit too much heat to go with the 3 large wood wicks, or 3 HTP 105s, or 3 premium cotton medium wicks. That would be a little bit too much heat, I think. So let's test the HTP 72. So there's the HTP 72, having 3 of those. Lots of white space, no overlap, so probably too small. So now let's try the HTP 93. All right, so there we have the HTP 93. Not a whole lot of overlap, a little bit, but not too much. There is a little bit of white space, but I believe that the amount of heat that is created by these 3 wicks together would be enough to give you a full melt pool. So I would test the 3 HTP 93 wicks in this one. So let's do that. So now we need to find the center spot of each of these sections so that we can put our wick in. So I'm gonna fold them from one side of the section to the other. So that shows me, that's got me half of it. So then I'll take the tip point of that fold and put it down to the middle, fold it, and now I see the center of my section, and that's where I wanna put my wick. So I'll do that again with all the rest of the sections. Just make my folds to find my center. There's my other center. And then finally my last fold into the center. All right, and there's my 3rd center. So then I just put my jar over top of my template, and I get the wicks that I'm gonna use. And I need 3 of those. And then I need my wick stickums. And we'll pop 1 over top of that circle. One over top of that circle. Try to keep it from moving. And then finally, we have 1 over top of that circle. So now we have our 3-wick candle all wicked up. All right, finally, we have our 4-wick candle. Now it's fairly easy, just like the 2-wick one. We start out by folding it in half one way, and then the point on either edge, we line that up from our first fold to make our second fold. So now we have our center and each of our 4 sections. So we need to measure, and so the widest part of the section is about 3 inches wide. And then we're looking at about 2 1/4, 2 1/8, around there for your thinnest part. So we need to find our happy medium. So let's go back to our templates. I think it's fairly easy to know that our large wood wick would be way too big. Too much overlapping would be way too much heat. The candle would burn really, really fast. So we aren't going to do that. So then we're going to try the HTP 93s. So again, not a lot of white space around the outside, but quite a bit of overlapping in the middle. So I think it might be a little bit too hot to do 4 HTP 93 wicks. So let's see the HTP 72s. Now there is a little bit of white space, not a whole lot of overlap there, but I think that with the 4 of them working together, we would get enough of a mount pool from the 4 HTP 72s. The HTP 93 wasn't too bad, but I do think that it would burn a little bit hot and a little bit fast. So I'm going to try out 4 HTP 72 wicks and see how they go. All right. So then we need to figure out where the middle of our sections are. So I'm going to fold it over one side of the section to the other. And then from that point into the middle, that shows me my center. We'll do that with each section. There's another middle. Third. And then the last section. All right, so that's where my 4 wicks are gonna go. I'm gonna handle over top. Now this could be a little bit trickier if you are using a jar that you can't see through. So that would become a little bit more tricky, but knowing approximately where you should be placing your wicks will help. I know that there are lots of wick tools that can be used that will help you when you're using multiple wicks, or if you're using 1 wick, it's great for putting it down into the center of your jar. I like to do it the old-fashioned way, and if you don't have those tools, then it's good to know how to do it this way. So we're gonna put our wicks in. And 3 more. All right, so now I have my 4-wick. So we have a candle that will have 4 wicks, 3 wicks, and 2 wicks. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make these into candles, and I'm gonna do a test burn. And then I'm gonna show you how these made out in the test burn, okay? So we've finished our test burn, and these candles burned for about 4 hours. And as you can see, we do have fairly substantial melt pools on all of them. You are going to find that when you do put multiple wicks into your candles, you do need to slightly over wick in order to achieve that full melt pool. So don't be completely alarmed when your melt pool is a little bit deeper than you would normally like with a single wick. So the double wick was definitely my winner. I used 2 large wood wicks in this one, and the glass got to about 115 degrees on the outside, and the melt pool was about 1/2 inch deep. So definitely deeper than what I normally would want from a single wick, but for a double wick, I would be okay with that. And let me tell you, my house smells fantastic right now. So nice, clean, and fresh with our clean terrain fragrance oil. So then the 3 HTP 93 wicks, it got to about 120 degrees on the outside of the glass, still within reason of what you would consider the max of 140. And then the melt pool was about 3/4 of an inch deep. So pretty deep. Probably I wouldn't go with this one just because of that. And then our 4 HTP 72, it got to 140, so right at the max, a little hotter than I probably would like my candle to get, but it's right there at the max. And then the melt pool was 7/8 of an inch deep, so almost an inch, pretty deep. I probably wouldn't go with that one. I would probably do a double wick in this particular size of candle. I might even test the medium wood wicks just to see if it is able to get the full melt pool without going quite as deep. So, and that's the thing, that's why we always say to test, because just because this is what I would go with, that doesn't mean that this is going to give you the results that you want for your candles. So that's why it's so important to do testing of multiple different kinds of wicks to see which one is going to give you the results that you are looking for. All right, so that's the results of my multi-wick candle burn, and I hope that it helps you figure out the wicks that you would use in your candles.